So Gary, go ahead and tell us a little bit about H&M Plating. I know it's been around for many, many years down in the Houston areas, but kind of give us a little bit of a oversight of everything that it includes.
Sure. We've been around since 1971, and
Mm,
started out as a chrome only facility.
mm,
We didn't do anything but hard chrome for several years when we started out, and then over the years we've gotten into the precision grinding and
mm,
the honing and all of the finishing requirements that we have with hard chrome. Uh, and then around 2008, we got into the HVOF
mm.
uh, end of things. That was beginning to take off, and so we've grown that part of our business as well, and just continued to grow our grinding and upgrading our equipment to meet the new needs that everybody needs with their coatings now, and the tight tolerances that everybody holds, and things like that. We feel like I'm pretty sure that we're one of the largest grinding shops in the state of Texas now, which
Mhm.
we didn't ever plan to be. We were hard chrome platers, and that's what we wanted to do. But that's the way it's turned out. And
Yeah.
so
I was gonna say
again, we
I
go
was gonna
ahead.
say, I guess a lot of this is driven by your customers asking you to do more, right? Over the years, right? And I guess you
Oh,
saw those opportunities to add those services for them.
oh, absolutely. I mean, originally, we knew that we were only in the plating business, and we knew that we were outsourcing our precision grinding to different shops, and but the customers demanded deliveries that we couldn't keep by
Mhm.
using outsourcing, and then so instead of outsourcing, we started one machine at a time, and like you said, it was customer driven. Wanted quicker turnarounds. They wanted us to have more control. We wanted more control. You have a problem, and then you have to start over, and that just extends your coating times out, and your costs. Because the outside service guys never make mistakes. It's always the plater's fault. So
That's right.
so
The
we
last guy to
always
touch it. Right. Last
exactly.
guy.
So we absorbed all the costs, and
Right.
so that's how we got started. My dad is also started Texas Honing, which is a big
Mhm.
honing shop here in Houston, or in the Pearland area, which is south of
Mhm.
Houston, and it's now part of the Berkshire Hathaway group of
Wow.
companies. My
Wow.
my dad started that. He held on to that for a couple of years and sold it to his partners, and they grew it tremendously after my dad left. And so I've always made fun of him that he got out way too soon, but
Right.
it was time for him. So yes, we had knowledge of the honing business, and so that helped us to jump into the honing business. We do a lot of honing here, and then again, the precision grinding is a big part of our business. We have OD grinders, ID grinders, we have
Mhm.
surface grinders, we have planetary grinders, we have vertical grinders, and every kind of grinder that you can imagine, we have one of or more.
Right. Right. You said you started out in plating. How do you acquire all those knowledge of having all these other techniques? I mean, it's not easy. Those are very skilled processes, the grinding and everything else, right? I mean, how did you all kind of adapt to that? I know you dealt with a lot of
Well,
those companies, but now you took ownership of those, right?
sure, and we had to go out and headhunt some guys, some
Mhm.
people that had this knowledge, and the good thing about me and my dad both were very hands on.
Mhm.
We both, he grew up in the shop, I grew up in the shop, so we were hands on. We bring good people in. But I was out there, and I learned it from the ground up, just like I was as green as hiring somebody off the street when we started. But
Right.
that's how we did it. We brought in good people. Again, the honing business was something that my dad had quite a bit of knowledge in, so that wasn't as difficult as the grinding was. But it's all been about the people that we've been able to hire through the years, and we do our own training. We don't we try to bring in young guys, train on the way we want them to work. Everybody does things different, and when you bring guys in from the outside, sometimes that doesn't work out as well.
Right, exactly. Yeah, one thing I noticed, a lot of customers, they don't want to ship parts around to different companies, right? They want to have a
Mhm,
single source that can kind of handle all this, right? It's a risk on your part for
mhm.
investing in companies and equipment and people and everything, but it pays off, it sounds like, with that.
Oh, absolutely. The one-stop shop is the biggest selling point that we have. We are so much better than our competitors that only do grinding and only do
Right.
honing, because if there's coatings that need to be done, Usually the vendors will go to the coating shop. That's who they want to handle their parts, because you give a guy that's not in the coating business a coated part and he doesn't know how to treat it, and so it becomes a problem. So
Right.
we definitely have a niche, being a one-stop shop
Right.
for their grinding and coating needs.
Right. And knowing that you're going to be sending it to your finishing shop. I mean, sometimes you get parts, right, that came from outside and they're not done real well. People don't understand your process, but it sounds
Right.
like you guys would have a lot more quality control there, knowing you're going to be
Mhm.
taking it right down the line and finishing it. So you're going to do it right, that whole process.
Yeah, absolutely. The quality of the product, we feel, is just so much better that way. Again, with us having our hands on it from start to finish, we
Right.
know what to expect. We know what we're looking for. We know what to protect. We know how to make it. We know how to make it work.
Right, right. A couple years ago, you all really set out and acquired some companies, acquired some other finishing.
Mhm.
Let's talk about that. I think it was. I'm not sure what came first, whether South Coast or Mirror Industries, but you added that. You needed those. When did
Mhm.
South Coast come into your fold there?
South Coast was the last
Last one.
acquisition
Okay.
that we made. That was November of 21, I believe,
Okay.
was South
Okay.
Coast.
So you started with
Mirror
Mirror Industry, right? In
Mirror Industries
2016, right?
was
Yeah.
our first acquisition. That was in 2016. Uh, we were looking at that. I'd been looking at that for a couple of years. I knew those guys over there, and they were getting up in age, and I knew they were thinking about retirement. But when I first approached them, business was really good, and they didn't want to walk away from something that was really doing well. And
Hmm.
then we had some turn downs or some, and so I went back and talked to them again, and we were able to work that out. And the big reason we wanted that, because here at H&M Plating, our chrome capacities have never been very big as far as the large parts. We were always
Hmm.
a small shop doing small
Right.
parts.
Hmm.
Mirror had the capacity to do some 20-foot stuff. They had two 20-foot tanks over there that we could start doing some of the bigger hydraulic work. That was one of our goals, was to get into the hydraulic repair business. That's try to get a little bit away from that oil and gas, and get into something else. And that was the main reason for that shop,
Hmm.
was the 20-foot deep tanks. We They had some other capacity, plating capacity. We could absorb that, but the 20-foot tank stuff was what really
Right.
set us off in the hydraulic business, and it's really taken off since then.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
And Schumacher, I was down at that shop years ago when the previous
mhm,
owners. I remember when Jim Sullivan ran that operation
mhm,
for them,
mhm.
and that's a big operation with a lot of the HVO, the plasma treating, all that stuff. That had to be a nice acquisition to get and put all those under your roof as well. Then.
It was. We did that. That acquisition was in September of 19,
Hmm.
right before COVID, as timing would have it. But
Yeah.
but you're correct. We did a lot of, we consolidated a lot of that. We got away from some of those
Hmm.
coatings that they were doing. They had the spray metal shop, which was doing some fused coatings that have kind of don't have a market anymore. There's a
Hmm.
small market for them, but it's not that big a market. So we kind of just phased that out, and we phased out their HVOF department over there, because we were doing it here,
Hmm.
and we were able to absorb that work here. And basically, we were after the chrome, and because of the capacity, as you said, they have multiple 22-foot long tanks.
Right.
They have and they just have multiple. They have three plating buildings, what they call building A, B, and C over there. Which, I mean, their plating capacity is just it's unbelievable,
Right.
compared to what I'm used to.
Right. Yeah. It's a
So
very
that's
large. Yeah. We're seeing that. It was
absolutely.
great. Yeah.
And we got the Dixie facility with it, which has a 30-foot tank over there. And so we were able to take our Mirror facility and move it into the Dixie facility, and consolidate that as well, and continue with our hydraulic work, which has just really been a big deal for us now that we're
Right.
able to do the really long stuff. So,
Yeah.
but yes, it was all about capacity, a lot of capacity that we were able to gain.
Right. Yeah. And then South Coast Grinding Guy came in. That's your last one. You said
That
that you
came in
brought it.
afterwards
Yeah.
because we were tight on grinding. There wasn't a lot of grinding that we bought Mira didn't have a lot, and then Schumacher, uh, they had several machines, but they
Hmm.
were not maintained over the years, and we just didn't have. We needed capacity. South
Right.
Coast is a little shop that's just around the corner from H&M. I've known that gentleman for a long time, and he was ready to retire as well. So we were able to get something done, and that really increased our grinding capacity. That there's 25 or 30 precision grinders over there
Right.
that we were able to put to work immediately. We started with two guys in the shop when I bought it over there, and
Hmm.
we've got about 15 guys over there now
Wow.
in that shop alone, doing nothing but
Wow.
grinding. So
Wow. Yeah. I was going to
it's
say, yeah, you're in the really the reconditioning market, which is huge because I know that, like I said, it's better for people to get things reconditioned than have to buy all new stuff, right? And that seems to be a growing sector, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Since COVID, it just really took off too because of all the supply chain issues and things like that. You had to fix it because there wasn't anything to buy.
Right.
And I think that is stuck now, and I think that most of our people out there realize that they can get it back faster, they can get it back cheaper, and they get probably a better product on some of this stuff with the coatings on it, because a lot of this new stuff's not coated, and they use it and wear it out, and then after it's been coated, they realize they get better life out of it. So uh, I don't see that changing anytime soon. I mean,
Right.
we know the supply chain market is lightened up a little bit, and you can find things now, and yet they're still sending us things that you normally wouldn't see. 5 years ago, there's things that you just wouldn't see. They would just throw them away and put another one in, but we're still
Right.
seeing those things, and I think they're realizing that the coating industry is saving them money in the long run, and
Right.
I think that works in our benefit for sure.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, and as we talked a few minutes ago, I mean, having a one-stop shop and, having that expertise when you get a reconditioned part that needs to be done. Again, it's a very highly skilled discipline, right? To get that part
Mhm.
reconditioned all the way through, get it to the specs, get it coded correctly to the
Mhm.
specs. I mean, that's something it's said it's years and decades of that experience of doing that. It's expensive stuff that you're doing for them, right? I mean,
Well, absolutely, absolutely.
yeah,
We've gotten into a lot of what we call rotating equipment, which is steam turbines and large boiler feed pumps, and a lot of big armatures, 1,000 horsepower motors and up armatures and stuff that we coat. And yes, it's some really big, heavy, expensive stuff, but in the long run, again, with the fast turnaround, the coating being on there, you get longer wear. They're able to get back in service. I mean, when they're down, and you know how much money that costs them. So they're really, they're not really worried about our costs. They're more worried
right,
about their costs, and
right.
so it's just been it's a good business to be in right now.
Right. I was going to say, and the size of these projects you're working on, it's not something where, like you said, you can really, it seems it works well for you all because you all have so many of these operations so close by. Instead of having to put it on a truck and ship it another hour somewhere else, I mean, you guys are really handling these parts. Again, another benefit, again, of one stop with that. I'm sure.
No, absolutely, without a
Yeah.
doubt, and we don't, and we try not to either. We try not to even, other than South Coast, we try not to even do any intercompany stuff. If it comes to H&M, we try to do it all right here at H&M. If it goes to Schumacher, we realize that we have to send a lot of that grinding to South Coast, but we try to keep everything in each shop. Each shop has
Right.
its own niche, kind of what we specialize in, and so we try to keep everything under one roof as much as we can.
Right.
But when it does have to go intercompany, we have good handle on what that is and how we track it, and our quality staff, they work together hand in hand. They know what to expect from our parts, and we know what to expect from their parts. So you're absolutely right. The one-stop shop is been a big bonus for us.
Right. Yeah. You talked about having those, people that you have working there, and I know, skilled labor is hard to get these days, right? And
Mhm.
has that been a bigger challenge than what you would kind of imagine? I know you bought a lot of these before
Mhm.
COVID and keeping it, but it's one thing to get employees, but it's one thing to have them with that skill that you need. But like you said, you do your own training with a lot of them that you bring them in and really train them to for a career. Almost, it seems like it's a very good skill to
Yeah,
have.
yeah, absolutely. And we've tried. you know, I hate to say it, you hire 20 guys and you may get one or two guys that really want to work. But we just keep doing it. We just keep hiring. We keep, we bring them in. We explain to them what to expect, and some of them will just walk away and say, that's just not for me. I'm not. I don't want to be in a shop like that. But we have some really really good people that are willing to train these guys, that are really they pride themselves on making these
Hmm.
guys, because it is a career, and
Right.
once you get this skill down, this you can make some good money. We
It'll
work
be it's
24.
always going to be needed, right? You'll be done
Right.
24/7, right? Pretty
We
much.
work 24 hours a day. Right. Exactly. And we work Saturdays, we work Sundays, we work holidays, whatever the customer requires. And so there's an opportunity for guys to make a good living for their families,
Right.
and learn a skill. And it is
Right.
definitely a skill that it's not a lot of people know what we're doing.
Right. Exactly. How many people do you have now working for all of your companies now that you've got total?
I want to say around 160, 165.
Okay. Wow. And what was that before you started these acquisitions? What type of operation were you managing with that? Just
Here at H&M, before the Mirror acquisition, I want to say we were around 55, maybe
right.
60.
Right.
Hmm.
You as owner and your other managers and everything, how do you scale up managing all this bigger operation, bigger throughput, bigger demands, more customers? I mean, how do you manage that in just a really short, not too long of a period of time that you guys have had to kind of gravitate that all into your
Well,
operations?
well, again, it's been challenging for sure. It's been
Hmm.
challenging. Again, I've had good people. My guy that started at Mirror, when we moved him and consolidated over at Dixie, I moved him there, and he took over that facility, and has done a remarkable job. He's been with me. A lot of my managers have been here 15 plus years. I don't micromanage very much. I kind of hand them the reins and let them go. Same thing at Schumacher. They had a gentleman over there that he had left right after James had passed away,
Hmm.
and came to work for me. And so he kind of knew what I expected. And then when we were able to do the deal at Schumacher, I moved him back over there, and have let him handle that plant. And so having the people that know the plant, because that's a big thing, you have to know what your capacities are there, and it's just been it's made a world of difference. I'm not, but it's, trust me, it wasn't easy though. Like I
I was
said,
going to
I'm
say,
from 55 to 155 is a big jump for us. And
right. It
but
comes with more headaches all around with everything with that.
oh,
What type,
absolutely.
what type of parts are you doing with this? I know we talked. I want to say, oil and gas is so huge down there, but you mentioned some other thing, turbines and turbines and other things. What type of parts are you actually doing? What industries are you servicing a lot of?
Well, oil and gas is down now to probably 30-35% of what we do. Uh, the rest of it is the petrochemical stuff, the repair work at different plants, forging plants, shingle plants. That's a big deal for repair work. Those asphalt shingles wear things out a lot, so we're able to do a lot of work for those guys. We do work for the mining industry out of Montana and Wyoming
Mm,
area. I mean, there's and then the hydraulic work. That's every piece of construction equipment, every dump truck, everything that lifts or turns has a hydraulic cylinder in it.
right.
And there's a market out there for chrome rod that we know that you can just go buy off of the shelf, but there's a lot of foreign equipment in this country now that
Mm,
is all metric, and nobody stocks metric chrome rods. So that's helped our business as well. So we take those rods and we undercut them and we fix them the way they're supposed to be. And so that's a big part of our business as well. I mean, because
right.
just like I said, remember, everything that turns or dumps or does anything has a hydraulic cylinder on it, and every
Right.
one of them has
Right.
chrome on it. They haven't
Right.
found a replacement for chrome in the hydraulics yet. So
Right. Yeah. One of the things I know, when people give you parts, they want them back very quickly. I know I saw you guys usually try to do a 3 week turnaround, which is great. I mean, it's fantastic. Those are some very quick turnarounds that you all can do of reconditioning, I guess, and then finishing it and getting it back to them. Is that about the window you guys are working with now?
we asked for that window, but we have again, in the turbine business or the pump business, they want it back tomorrow. And so so a lot of the times, and that's how the HVOF gets picked sometimes over the chrome, is because we can take something in this afternoon, we can coat it
Hmm.
tonight, and we can give it back to them tomorrow. And
Right.
so that's a big part of our business too. We strive on taking the things in that they need. Our our busiest day seems to be Friday afternoon from noon to 4. So that's when we start getting all the calls. We need it back for Monday. We need to be back up and running Monday, and so that's what we
Right.
do. So that's a large part of our business as well. But again, the chrome business is a little bit slower than that. Chrome doesn't go on like spray on coatings,
Hmm.
and especially on the refurbished stuff, you have to build it up a considerable amount, so that does take more time, and we try to push those deliveries out as far as the customer will allow us to.
Right.
But
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
that's all customer driven too. I mean, sometimes you just have to stand up and say, "Hey, I can't do it. This is what it's going
Right.
to be," and then you just have to field the phone calls.
Right. Yeah. You can't do it correctly in that time. That's the thing. You can,
Sure,
but
exactly.
yeah, you've got, like I said, lots of operation. You got the HVOF. I know you got the sulfamate nickel and
Hmm.
E. And is there anything? Any of those seems to be picking up, doing a lot better than what they had done. I know you got a lot of
We,
operations with that. Or
we've really been pushing the electroless nickel because that's a large capacity plating over at Schumacher that they have
Mhm.
for electroless nickel, and they didn't market it for whatever reason. And we
Right.
got over there, and they weren't doing any of it. So we thought, well, it's there. Let's see what we can do. And we've had some success. We've floundered a few times, but we're having some success with building that up. Not as fast as we'd like, but I think that's going to eventually turn out to be a strong point for us as being in the large electroless nickel. We don't want to do it by the pound. We don't want to
Right.
we don't want to compete with the barrel platers. We don't want to do that. But we have big tanks. We have big capacity, large cranes that we can do things that some of our competitors can't do. So that's kind of what we're selling in the electroless nickel. And then the sulfamate nickel has always kind of been just a side plating that we did at
Hmm.
H&M that they kind of do over there, kind of as a base to put chrome over the top of. There's not a lot of market for just sulfamate nickel plated parts. There's no wear in that stuff. It's pretty soft, but it is very, it's good in corrosive atmospheres. And so if you put chrome over the top of it, you kind of get the best of both worlds.
Right.
So that's kind of just a bonus for us is the sulfamate nickel. We don't, there's just not a big market for sulfamate nickel only stuff.
Right. Any concerns about with the hexchrome? I mean, it seems like it's getting pounded on every day. I know out in California, they went after it very hard. I know the EPA is looking at it a lot more. Any concerns with that? I know that probably trivalent's not something that you guys are integrating just yet, but what's the future of that? You think is going to happen here?
I mean, you talk to 10 different people, you get 10 different answers on that. We feel pretty comfortable that we keep up with the regs. We do everything we're supposed to be. We're open to the city and to the state to come see what we do. We invite them to come see what we do. Uh, we have, the NASF that works really close with the people in Washington, and we just keep telling them what we do and how we do it, and how safe we are at doing it. And I just don't see. I mean, California is California. It's hard to compare anything to California. I would say that we might have a problem if they did it in Wyoming. So, right now, I just think it's a viable business, and I just don't. You would put a lot of people out of work, and you would also. I mean, there's no replacement for it yet
Right.
that does everything that it'll do. I mean,
Right.
they've got certain things that'll do certain things, but there's nothing that replaces it 100%. I just don't see that. I don't see them being able to just shut it
Right.
down all.
Right.
You know.
When they understand what parts are being done with this, crucial parts, critical parts, you don't want to
Oh,
play with
absolutely.
that. You
Well,
want
and
to
they're
have
not
it
and
with.
they're not telling you the 100% truth either. The Department of Defense is one of the largest users of chrome plating there ever was and
Right.
ever is. And
Right.
they talk about they're trying to move away from it, but they're having the same problems everybody else is. They haven't found what works, and so they
Right.
continue to chrome plate things. I mean,
Right.
there are large government contracts out there for chrome plated accumulators and actuators and all kinds of things out there. So you're shooting yourself in the foot if you're not careful.
Right, exactly, and that's I think that's one of the big things that it'll be here for a while when you've got as much military equipment that needs that and everything.
Mhm.
Um, Yeah. What are you finished with your acquisition? I mean, what are you still looking at? What do you still need? It seems like you got everything you need there, but are you looking for maybe anything in the future that you want to add, or is it?
Well, as you know, I sold. Casey is the guy that you set this
Mhm.
all up with, and I
Yeah.
sold to his group back in May, and I am here for a couple of years unless they run me off, and but that's kind of what our plan is to go out after some of these other shops that we've we really want to grow our HVOF coating business.
Mhm.
That's about a 20% of our business right now. We'd love for that to be 50-60% of our business. Just because of what you're talking about with hex chrome and stuff, we need something to fall back on just in case.
Right.
But that's so there's some we're looking at some of that, and any coating facility that kind of
Mhm.
has some synergy with what we're doing, because you'd be surprised what some of these other coatings, and that they probably have chrome that they don't realize we're around, and we think that that can be a big deal for us as well. So we're
Right.
definitely looking. That's again that's with the new group. I'm really
Mhm.
impressed with how anxious they are to get out and start pinpointing some targets and making some moves on that.